This is the first presidential election in which we have candidates whose roots are not in the continental United States, but in Hawaii and Alaska, which both became states in 1959. So we had Barack Obama, of course, born in Hawaii, spent some years there as a child. Sarah Palin, technically born in Idaho and went to college in Idaho, but of course has made her career in Alaska. That's also different. We have our geographic center of gravity, it keeps going west, 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 and this is further proof of that. And then the last point I would make about this is that Americans are more negative than they have ever been. If 75% of Americans think the nation is on the wrong track, then you can believe that people want change this year. Those are the prepared comments I had for you. What I thought I would do very briefly is report 3 things that Frank Luntz said yesterday that I thought, you know, as I prepared these remarks, but then I thought after I heard his talk that it would be interesting for you to hear these 3 things. These are his observations that I thought really stood out. He said that Sarah Palin will be a champion of the forgotten American, that she is positioning herself through her rhetoric and her experience to appeal to people who feel that they have been sort of out of the mainstream and out of the franchise. You know, small town America and their values. 40 million people in all tuned in to watch her. She is a rock star now. She has rock star status. More people watched her than Barack Obama. The Republicans got a bigger bounce out of their convention, much bigger than the Democrats, who virtually had no bounce, so far as we can tell at this point. Sarah Palin is, as you've heard now, the playmaker, the game changer. The forgotten Americans that Frank Luntz defines are kind of like Richard Nixon's silent majority. These are not people who will necessarily put a bumper sticker on their car. They're not necessarily going to go down to the campaign headquarters and do the phone banks or the lit drops. They're not necessarily going to write more than a check for $100 to send to their candidate, but in their own quiet way, they have a stake in this election now, and they collectively now will be the game changers. They'll be the game changers for this country, depending on in what numbers they show up. A second point that Frank Luntz made is that if Obama wins Michigan, he won't necessarily win the presidency. If McCain wins Michigan, he most certainly will be the 44th president of the United States. If McCain wins Michigan. So look carefully at how our state, here it goes, we will be a bellwether state in this election. The third point that he made, actually a whole series of points, and I've got to share this with you because I do want us to end on a little bit of a light note. I feel like I've been a preacher at Sunday, you know, sort of fire and brimstone of our future as a country. But Frank Luntz was very funny yesterday, and he had a few pot shots at everybody, but there were 2, this was in a good-natured pot shot at McCain. He said, John McCain spent 5.5 years in prison and then spent a career in politics. Isn't that just the opposite of what most politicians do, where they career in politics and then 5.5 years in prison? Got something going for him.
That's cute.
And this one made our patron at the Hauenstein Center, Ralph Hauenstein, howl. But you know, Ralph Hauenstein's 97 years old almost. You know, just incredible. He goes to work every day still. He goes to his office every day. He and I have lunch every Wednesday. I mean, he's an amazing guy. But Frank Luntz said, John McCain, of course, is old. He's an old guy. It takes him an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. But of course, Frank Luntz has to be nonpartisan, so he also had a crack about Hillary Clinton, whom he respects, but he thought that this was a great line. He said, where does Hillary Clinton live? Chappaqua, New York. You know what Chappaqua means? It's an Indian word for separate bedrooms. Well, we live in a great country. You know, no matter what I've said, no matter how dour I sound this morning, I'm an old Scotsman and I think I have a dour side of me, but no matter how much we can fear the future, no matter how much the statistics and the poll numbers show that things... is that a donor for us? I'll take that call. That's okay. No matter how negatively we feel about this election or the candidates, ain't this country grand? I mean, we have the opportunity, absolutely. The fact remains, we have the greatest constitutional republic that the world has ever seen. We do have the opportunity to get the word out and make the changes that we believe in. We have an opportunity to cut against the grain. If we see our young people feeling negative and down about the election, we can give them a pep talk. You all are in a perfect position to do so because of the wealth of experience you have. You have seen things that none of the rest of us have. You have you have a richness of experience that I hope that you can convey and put things in perspective. The problem I battle in the classroom again and again is that young people have, they've only been around for 20 years, and so they think whatever happened yesterday is the trend. Whatever happened yesterday means, well, that's surely going to be what's going to happen tomorrow. That's not the case. You have seen so many changes in your lifetime. Oh, please don't feel that you have to leave for this. I'm wrapping this up. You have the experience of a lifetime to help put this election and this country in perspective, and that's a beautiful gift you have. So if I've been able to add anything at all to your perspective today, I'm honored, and I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Gleaves?
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Yes, please. Yes.
I really admired Sarah's speech, and I thought, oh, and would she have enough guts to fight against City Hall, so to speak? I know she knows what she's doing with the oil and the gas and whatever, but is she going to have enough power, or are they going to put her down?
That is an excellent question, because you know what already the word is out on the street? I'm hearing people, and I was reluctant to make this a talking point today with you because I want to see what people are saying 3 weeks, a month, 2 months from now, right on the eve of the election. But I'm hearing people saying that this will be the first election in which people will vote for a vice president. And the reason they're saying that, they're saying, I wasn't really turned on by McCain, but boy, Palin strikes a note. And I've informally surveyed some of my friends, especially women, who feel very strongly that Palin's their gal. And they're saying, I really didn't think I was going to vote for McCain, but I'm going to vote for Palin. She's the future of the Republican Party. She's the future of our country. We like her spunk. We like the fact that she can be an ordinary mom who can have kids and a career. And there's something very encouraging to women about that. So here's the question. Will the power that Sarah Palin, let's assume McCain-Palin win in November. Will the power that they will suddenly find themselves in, will the compromises that most necessarily have to be made, make her start to calculate, if I want to be the future of the Republican Party, if I want to run independently for the presidency in 2012 or 2016, do I, pull my punches? Do I pull in my horns? We don't know enough about her yet on that stage when the stakes are so high. Power, I worked in Lansing for 11.5 years. I worked in a gubernatorial administration. I watched what power does to people. And power messes with people's heads like nothing else. They don't say it's an aphrodisiac for nothing. It is true. Once people are in a position of power, they start acting differently. We just don't know yet about Sarah Palin. We'll just have to see what her track record is once she has that kind of power, if she is indeed elected, or if she runs in 2012 on her own.
But she did it in Alaska.
She did.
So, and she more or less said, I don't care what you think, this is the right way. And I'm just wondering if she could get away with that in Washington.